What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, me going over the cheese team for floor 1 Nidhogg. Every other team I've been struggling with, and on my JP account I've just been like going through it, trying multiple different teams. I've tried pretty much everything I could on my JP account, so I hit up my boy Yamcha to ask him to see if I could do his floor 1 for a video. And yeah, I'm on his account, and I did clear the floor 1 with this team right here, guys. Looks pretty familiar, right? It looks a lot like the Bond Patience team on Dogs. And so in this video, I'm gonna be going over what I actually did to actually clear this fight and show you guys the video. So this is the video here of what I did, and I show everything, the gear, the card set, all of that. So let's hop in. We'll just like react to it kind of while I explain everything. So Yamcha's Freyr is attack crit damage. We don't have to run like crit resistance rolls on this fight because the enemy just doesn't crit you, and you're also just not gonna get hit. So I don't think the damage necessarily matters. But yeah, we are running attack crit king with Holy Relic King. That could have mattered in the fight. I don't know if it mattered as much as I think it would need to be, but it definitely did, which I'll show you guys in the fight when we get to the part. Valenti full HP defense, but as you guys can see, if I go back a little bit, full resistance rolls, right? So everything is there that's resistance. So let's keep going through. So he's just running HP defense, resistance rolls in the middle, and his bond just full defense. I think honestly, if you had resistance rolls on the bond as well, I think that'd be a little bit better. But Yamcha's a whale, so he pretty much has like higher stats in general anyway. So he's already just gonna be, you know, kind of LTCing, and or not LTCing, but just like, you know, he has a lot more stats basically. Yeah, and then in terms of the card set, he's running the resistance card set, 20% resistance on that. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of the links, it's just like, you know, HP defense Escanor, attacker damage Sariel, HP defense Diane, and then HP defense Tarmiel right there, or triple defense, right? And then we hop into the fight here, guys, and I'm gonna show you the strat with the team. It's fairly simple. But if you have all the characters sorted and, you know, they have their gear sets and everything, it shouldn't be too bad. Right, it should not be too bad. So what you're gonna do every single turn, King Shield, no matter what. That is something I highly recommend. You guys just want to do one King Shield every single turn, just so that the boss patience you. And first phase, the boss will completely patience you until he gets an ultimate. So that's something to worry about a little bit. I didn't know that he would do damage to me with the ultimate, and so like when I was fighting the fight, I was like, okay, let me just like try and just, you know, king card every single turn, regular attacks, and see where that gets me. And yeah, I mean, it almost got me not killed, but I definitely got my shield broke. And luckily he ulted as the last card in the hand, because if he ulted as the first card in the hand, I probably would have lost right there. But we'll get to that part in a bit. But as you guys can see, completely patience his bond right there. So, and now we're gonna be stacking Bond's passive, which you guys, if you don't know, it's gonna be, I think it's 15% attack related every time the boss is not able to damage Bond. So he's gonna be lowering the attack related of the boss. And then yeah, so we're kind of just like attacking 3 here. We do the single target with Freyr and the single targets with Bond. I'm just kind of like chipping his HP down. And yeah, there's nothing too crazy about this phase. The only like mechanic really here is that he's gonna have weak point on his second card, which does a lot of damage after he applies the debuff, but he can't apply the debuff if he's patiencing the whole team. So as you can see, when he does the weak point card, it's just gonna patience as well because it's not doing any damage. But yeah, so right here I think is where I mess up. This is where he has the ultimate right here. I should have pushed a Bond ult so I could have removed it. But as you guys can see, he was ulting last here, and I was just like, oh, okay, I think I'll tank it. And I was talking with Yamcha about it. I was like, do I tank the ultimate? And he was like, you know, even if you don't, like you should be okay because you just got to restack your Bond stacks. So luckily I was okay. But you guys might want to worry about that if you're running this team. Like maybe push Bond ult to remove his ult. That's something to definitely think about. But other than that, we were doing okay. So, you know, we dropped a single target. Boom, he lives. And then I'm like, okay, let's see how this goes. See if we tank the ultimate. As you can see, he also has AoE buff removal, AoE stance removal. Very, very annoying to deal with. So it's going to be very rough trying to get through this part. But as you guys can see, he drops the ultimate. I think I skip it, even though, you know, I didn't really need to see it. Yeah, boom. And as you can see, Bond did take damage there. And so I was like, oh, do I reset? I didn't know, so I think I stalled a little bit here because I was talking with Yamcha, yeah. But I was like, it's okay, we'll just keep going. So I go with the single targets, and we move into the next phase. Even though we're moving into the next phase with no Bond stocks, we're gonna start the turn with 1 because this is 1 turn right here, technically. So moving into the second phase. But yeah, second phase is a little bit difficult here because the boss has a damage, not a damage cap, but, well, I don't even know if he has a damage cap, but he has damage reduction, 3 times damage reduction. So it's kind of like, think of it as like perk melee, but the damage reduction never leaves, kind of like that. So he's super tanky, and so off the rip I was like, okay, having a king ult's gonna be really good. I definitely should have held on to Bond ultimate because it is a gauge reduction ult, so you probably want to hold on to, you know, that if you can. But yeah, then as you can see, like, guys, we're just not doing any damage. But basically pretty much what you're doing is you're just trying to chip down the boss every single turn. I don't know how other teams work against this part of the fight, because I know this part of the fight can block affect you, extort you, and every time I got to this phase on my JP account, he just one-shot me on phase 2 because of the extort. So I don't know exactly what you would do if you're not using this team, and I saw other teams as well. People were using like Trader Melly, like Elat, Trader Melly, Elat, Green Elizabeth and stuff. Like it's some weird comps, but they work. But I think this one is probably the safest bet if you guys are just trying to clear floor 1 every single week. I don't know how I'm going to do this on my global. I really don't. I'm probably just going to have to use this team. But yeah, and then another thing to note about this team as well is that this team is not able to do floor 2. I didn't even test it, but from Yontra's experience and what he told me it's just not doable. So I was like, okay, I'm not even going to attempt it at that point. It'd be a little bit too difficult. But as you guys can see, he's missing the extort because he's not able to do damage. And so he can't extort me and he can't take my stats. And so every turn, we're basically just doing a pretty good chip damage. One thing to take into account as well is that you want to have a stance removal with Freyr held onto for the second phase, because he does have a stance. So you want to always have a stance removal if possible. If you don't have the stance removal, then he's actually just going to counter you and actually do damage. So you don't want that to happen. So definitely make sure to have one. Luckily, Freyr should have one merged by this point in the fight. And if you don't, then, you know, it's going to be a little bit rough. But I'd say this is okay. Right, so if you can just get a stance removal, you'll be okay. And so right here he ults, and on the second phase, he doesn't do enough damage on the ult to actually, which you guys will see here. He doesn't do enough damage to even break the bond patience, so we're okay. But yeah, and I don't necessarily think, by the way, you guys need resistance card set or anything crazy like that. Yamcha's stuff could definitely be improved, I think. If he has resistance rolls on his bond, I think that probably would help a little bit, right? In comparison. But yeah, so I was like, okay, let me rip the ult first to get a little bit extra damage on the stance removal, because we're getting the shield with King, damage dealt and basic stats increase now that he has the Holy Relic. So it is really good to have King Holy Relic. I don't think you need it, but that's what Yamcha just told me as well. He said he doesn't think you need, but like, I think in general having it will be a lot better, just for consistencies on this fight. But I mean, you know, as long as you have the resistance rolls and you feel like you can patience, I think you'll be okay. But yeah, so right here you get a lot of merges here, and so I'm like literally on the last bit here. And also, I took away a damage reduction stock. I don't know how that happened. Did he have it this phase? That are right here. So is it every time you take away a stance, he loses it? Okay, that's something to take into account. I didn't even notice that in the fight. If he has a stance up and you stance remove, does that? Okay, maybe stance removal is what actually removes it. I don't even know. Let's see what I do on this turn again then. Let's see if I do the stance removal card. Is it just stance removal as the effect I need to do? Because maybe that's what I gotta do. Okay, I did do a stance. Let's see. Maybe it's either you have to remove a stance to remove a damage reduction, or if you just use a stance removal effect, it does it. Let's see. If that does it, then that's pretty crazy. Does it do it? Oh, whoa, wait. Okay, stance removal removes the damage reductions. Okay, that's definitely something to take into account. I'm learning this throughout the fight, guys. So this is just something I'm getting along the way. Okay, but now we're on the final phase, guys. This is where they have the brand new gauge effect. And so I got a passive here. I don't exactly know what the passive was. But I'm going to explain the gauge part right now to you guys. So as you can see on the left side of the screen here, he's going to have 100% gauge, right? And so this gauge right here, for you to actually kill him, he has immortality until the gauge reaches 0. So what you have to do is every single turn you're gonna have to just keep damaging and damaging and damaging until the gauge gets to 0, so when you can actually kill him. And he does have a damage reduction stack here. I don't know if you can still remove it with the cancel stance like before I was saying. It might be possible, which I don't know. Let's see if I do it. I wasn't like paying attention to his like boss. I was just attacking, right? Because I know the way King Team works is just, you know, you just attack. One thing to note as well, again, you know, push Bond ult if you can. I don't know if this guy does damage on his ult. I don't think he does, actually. I think you actually just tank it as long as you have the full 75% attack related down. But as you guys can see, the gauge is going down every time we hit him. I think it's damage based. I'm not too sure how it actually works, but I think it is damage based. But I did 4 cards initially, and I was like, oh, that's 10%. So is it every card does like 3%? Or like 2.5%, give or take, something like that. So I wasn't really sure initially, but I think it is based on damage, because when I start alting, you guys will see the gauge start to like drop like crazy, right? So right here I was like, okay, let's do the King Shield, let's do the single target there with Valenti. And then we'll drop the Bono right there, just to lower his gauge a little bit. But I don't think it really mattered too much, because we have Tarmiel Link on Bond. We have the blue Tarmiel Link just for defense. But it's not like the combined attack link, so he's not actually going to remove 5. So right there, when we do Freyr attack, look how much it did. It did 10%, whereas like every other card is doing normal. And then as you can see, another 10% right there from Bond. So you guys can kind of notice it, right? It really depends on the damage you do. And if you have like Freyr doing a lot of damage there, he's just going to do a lot. And his ultimate too does a lot. I don't think you need dupes on any of the ults, by the way. I think 1 out of 6 on every single ult on this team will get you the job done. But bear in mind that obviously having higher dupes on the ultimate will increase your damage, and especially for King too, just increasing his damage, it would be pretty valuable. But right here I was like, okay, let's kind of chip him down, and you know, we're doing pretty good damage right there. That's only 2%. And so right there, right when I got him less than 25%, he got attack related increase as well. But it doesn't matter when you have this team, because you still tank. And yeah, and then another thing to notice as well, he gets like a regeneration rate increase and recovery rate. So like his started turn, he starts like healing like crazy, and he has you know, pretty good just healing in general. So kind of worry about that or watch out for that a little bit, I should say. But yeah, he starts doing the single targets. He breaks King Shield, but that's okay, because as long as he doesn't damage Bond, then you don't have the problem. You're okay. So yeah, and then I dropped the King ultimate, the Valencia ultimate, Freyr ultimate. I'm like, okay, that should chip down his like his you know, his HP a lot. Right? So we take the gauge, that goes to 32%. Valencia puts him to around 22%. Freyr, I dropped the ultimate. Now, as you can see, Freyr puts him to 12%. So yeah, I don't think Freyr's second half of his damage counts towards the gauge, so that's something to take into account. And as you guys can see, he's at 2%, and all of those ults, no matter what, until he was 0%, we're not able to kill. So we were not able to kill until he had that, which is crazy. You know, crazy to think about. You actually have to damage him enough to the point where that happens. But yeah, here's where he ults, and we tank it. We tank it pretty well. So, you know, we skip this, and we tank. Valenti takes a little bit of damage, King takes a little bit, but he has the shield up still regardless, so that's all that really matters. As long as you have the shield up still, you don't have to worry about anything the boss is gonna do. And then right here, we do the final bit of cards here, guys, because now he's gonna be put at 0%, and we can actually get the kill. So right here, we do the Valenti card, boom, he goes to 0, and as you can see, he loses the little buff he has right there, the little gray buff with the immortality, and then you can kill him. So yeah, man, that is floor 1 of Nidhogg. Very difficult. With this team, though, it's good because it's a cheese team, right? Like, because you can basically cheese it with this team. But the only thing is, this team does not work on floor 2. So yeah, guys, this is pretty much the run right here. I hope this was helpful for anyone that's on JP right now attempting it. This is going to be the team you're going to run. I don't know exactly what teams can clear past this though. I do know there's an Elat strat with the Trader Melly right now, and they can barely beat floor 2, but I don't think too many people have beaten even floor 2 at this very moment. So it's mainly just floor 1, but this is the best team for floor 1 easily if you're just trying to clear just floor 1 every single week. So if you can do this every single week, you're going to get 1 from the actual clear reward, and then you get 1 from just selecting this demonic beast, so you get 2 a week. So if you're trying to get like Zeldris Relic or Melacula Relic or the Fraudulent Relic, you can get it, you know, within probably like a month and a bit if you're only doing this team. So yeah, guys, I hope this was helpful. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have a good rest of your day.